You. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today. We thank you for all that you have done, that you continue to do in and through our lives. God, we pray for wisdom here today. Lord, that you would be with us, that you would continue to guide us, that we would operate under your wisdom and not our own. God, I just thank you for each and every leader in here, each and every teacher, each and every person that represents just so many people. Lord, I just thank you for the wisdom that you have guided in them in this season. Lord, I prayed for continued health in them and in their families. God, that you would give them peace, that your peace would rule and reign in their lives. God, that they would have clarity of mind to be able to make the decisions, God, that you have called each and every person here to make. God, we thank you for today, and we pray that you would guide us. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call to order the organizational meeting of the School Board of Clay County, Florida, this fourth day of November 2021. This meeting is called pursuant to Section 1001.371 Florida statutes for the purpose of organizing the school board by election of a chair and vice chair. I will now open the floor for nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Mary Bola for chair.
Mary Bola has been nominated for chair. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, I don't think we need to vote, but I'll do it as a formality anyway. All in favor of Mary Bola as chair, please raise your hands and say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I now open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Ashley Gilhousen.
Ms. Gilhousen has been nominated for vice chair. Are there any other nominations? So sad if we would all raise our hands and say yes to Ms.
Yes.
Gilhousen.
Yes.
That is fantastic. I'd just like to comment, I've never seen such unity on this board, and maybe it's because I'm chairing this portion of the meeting. If I could just put that on the record, thank you.
I think he wants your job, Miss Bola.
I think
No,
it's
I've
going to
never
Scott.
had the opportunity to use this, and I was very thoughtful to do that. You know, it is our tradition to honor the chair, and I'm going to switch microphones and go down there. David Borowski, my address is on file. Okay. It is our tradition to honor the chair from the previous year. The chair serves a very valuable role for the board and the district. All the district's business goes through the chair and becomes part of the record for the rest of the board to vote on, and therefore each year it's our tradition to honor our chair. So I do have some information, I believe, about Ms. Bola. Ms. Bola started, I believe, 1996 as a substitute teacher. In 1999, as a teacher, she taught at W.E. Cherry, taught at Argyle Elementary School. I think one of the best compliments that I can give Ms. Bola is she approaches her job with a servant's heart and also just a whole caring attitude towards our district, and is a joy to work with as chair. So, you know, traditionally we give a plaque. Ms. Bola said, I don't want any stinking plaque. And so, this is where I expect the crowd to give me an ooh and an ah when instructed. Okay, we have gotten her this portfolio with your name. Not yet. I do the ooh, you do the ah. Okay, ready now? Ooh. Okay, Ms. Bola, if you'd like to come down, maybe say a couple words, and we'll move on with the meeting.
Thank you. It's truly an honor and a privilege to serve with each and every one of you. And thank you again. Hope I can live up to the expectations for the next time around as well. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Broski.
Our new Nicole.
Script. A script? Oh, there it is. Got it. Sorry. All right. The next item on the organization of the board is, or in the organization of the board, is to establish dates and times for the schedule of regular school board meetings for the upcoming year. The superintendent's proposed recommendation is that the board establish meeting dates and times for regular school board meetings for the period December 2021 through November 2022 as the first Thursday of each month, with the exception of the December meeting due to the annual joint conference, which will be Thursday, December 9th, 2021, and the July meeting due to the July 4th holiday, which will be Thursday, June 30th, 2022. All meetings to be held at 6 p.m. at Fleming Island High School in the Teacher in Service Center. Is there a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Ms. Karakis moved and seconded by
Second.
Ms. Bullock. Thank you. And any discussion? Awesome. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now need an authorization for payment of bonds for school board chair and vice chair. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move approval.
Thank you, Ms. Karakis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. The bank resolutions due to change of school board chair and vice chair. Do we still need to do that since? Okay, we'll skip that then. All right. This concludes the organization business meeting. I now adjourn the organization meeting, and the regular school board meeting will follow. Switching scripts here. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see all of you here this evening. Thank you, Pastor Bass, for that invocation. Welcome, citizens of Clay County. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board on an agenda item, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a yellow card. Could you hold one of those cards up, please? Thank you. And if you want to speak to the board, please fill out a yellow card and hand it to our chief, who's sitting right over here, or raise it up and he will come and get it. Indicating, it would be helpful to indicate the specific item number or topic you wish to speak about and turn it in promptly. No additional cards will be accepted once the board moves to the public comment section under presentations from the audience. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. We're going to start this evening with a number of recognitions. The first, Ms. Widdowson, who's Supervisor of Federal Programs. Would you come forward, please? I love these because they're always good news.
This is good news. This is really good news. Good evening. Thank you for making time for us. I'm Ryan Widdowson from the Federal Programs Department. I bring with me Marjorie Murray from the East Coast Technical Assistance Center. It's an organization out of Seminole County that provides support to districts typically around our federal programs, and is here to honor McRae Elementary School for some amazing work that they have done We're just so proud of that. Because of COVID, we were not able to honor them at the regular Exceeding Expectations conference. So Marjorie has traveled north to bring this honor to Tammy and her team. Tammy, you want them to come up now, or you want to?
Sure, I just have a couple things to
Yep,
say.
absolutely. Yep, and you do have books.
Good evening. Good evening. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Technical Assistance Center for 47 school districts in Florida who are your peers, this evening to bring you some really good news. We are in the 8th year of a project called Exceeding Expectations, which is one of the initiatives of our center. Every year, when the state releases the school grade database, we literally capture that school grade database. And with a team of very dynamic evaluators from across the state, we filter that database against our definition of what it is to exceed expectations. You must be a school to be considered for this project that is receiving Title I resources and to be in it, but you are literally compared to all schools in the state. Because to be considered an award school, you have to meet 100% of the criterion that we have established to be exceeding expectations. Not 99% and not 98%, but you must meet 100%. Let me tell you about the criterion. It is very stringent. The criterion includes being above the state median in proficiency on the Florida State Assessment exam in the areas of ELA and math, and it is being above the state median for learning gains in ELA and math, and for lower quartile learning gains in ELA and math, and also in science, and that's only a few of the criteria that's involved. Although you must be a Title I school, you're literally compared to all schools in the state, Title I and non-Title I, because that state median is established from all schools in the state. When we filtered that database and we sliced it and diced it of 1,895 schools in the entire state that are Title I, there were only 26 schools in the state that met 100% of the criterion, and following a visit to each of these schools became award schools. And your very own McRae Elementary School is one of those 26 schools. Standards-based, data-driven instruction, laser-focused intervention, visible, supportive, and actively engaged school leadership who never forget that adults and children need to also have a little fun in school, parents and community who care about and support the school, and of course, the district leadership that provides targeted resources and support is the perfect combination for ensuring student success. So I am here today to present the ECTAC Exceeding Expectations Award to McRae Elementary, a separate award to McRae's distinguished principal, Ms. Tammy Winkler, and a very small check. Sorry, it's only $300, but we're not a for-profit organization, which doesn't come from public funds, and it can be used any way they want to have some kind of a celebration with their staff. So we would like, on behalf of 47 school districts that are your peers, to congratulate McRae Elementary and Mrs. Winkler for being only one of 26 schools in the state to receive this award. And thank you for letting me come tonight to present it to them. So congratulations, McRae. This is for you. That's for you, Sarah. There you go. So you can take it with you if you ever move. Thank you so much. And there's your check.
Okay, and a check too?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Can we get one? Can we get right over here? Because we're going to bring our whole team up. "25 years proud."
That's right. Congratulations, McRae. That is awesome. Awesome. More good news coming from our Education Foundation. Michaela Buchanan will be, I believe, accepting a check, if I'm not mistaken. Along with Lisa Ashworth, who is our board chair for the Clay Education Foundation.
Good evening. Yes, thank you. So exciting. Back here again, second time. More good news. I know you're just so happy I'm back off maternity leave. It's a privilege. We really want to just share a little bit about this continued partnership with Community First Cares Foundation. You probably have noticed that year after year, we come with a lovely big check that everyone, is very favorable of. And we always are here with Missy Peters, and it would be remiss of me to not mention the fact that she has been a really great colleague to work with. From the very beginning when I came in, she is a very unique partner of a foundation that asks where the money is going to actually make an impact. And if you know anything about fundraising, sometimes that's not the question you get asked. There's some telling involved and acceptance and spinning of the words a little bit. So she's been a great partner, and we are very excited to continue the Grants for Great Ideas program, which enables teachers to buy classroom materials and supplies that are innovative in nature, quality projects in literacy and STEM education, which Community First this year is helping us give away $50,000 worth. This is about double the amount that we did last year and years in the past. So we're very excited for that, and I'll turn it over to her to give a little bit, and then we can do a nice photo op if you guys wouldn't mind.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Missy Peters, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of the Community First Cares Foundation. And tonight I want to talk to you about chocolate chip cookies, if that's okay. So I recently read that chocolate chip cookies were actually developed during the Great Depression. And it's really interesting to me that such innovation and deliciousness and iconic food can come out of such a trying time. And so I think about it really in the world that we're living in today, and certainly this pandemic has been challenging for all of us. And, we are very committed to innovation at the credit union, and, many times we look to our teachers to help us innovate and to innovate our future, the future of our workforce, the future of our county. So we are so excited to help support our teachers, and we're hoping that this check, these donations to the teachers, helps develop our next batch of chocolate chip cookies.
So on behalf of all of us, we'd like to invite you down for a photo op, and at the same time, we'll be presenting Missy Peters with a lovely certificate of appreciation for all of her hard work and great partnerships. So if you wouldn't mind joining me, we'll do the big check.
Michaela, we always appreciate it when you bring checks. I think that's awesome, and our teachers appreciate it even more. And now, if you would, you are providing us with an update, I
Yes,
believe.
ma'am.
Thank you.
So I think I actually shared this video last time, so I'm going to skip the video. Does that sound right? Does anybody recall that? Okay. We're going to do that then, or going to try to do it anyways, if I can be smarter than the... Okay, yep, I was. So, update for the fall for Q1 school year. Yay, we're so excited. The STEM pathways have expanded now to 10 schools. You might remember over the summer talking about that just a little bit and what that really means. I had the privilege and honor of going to the Economic Development Council meeting with Dr. Jerry Parrish from the Florida Chamber Foundation. He's the chief economist there, and he came and talked to business leaders in the community about why workforce development is so important. And if you've ever met me and you know me at all, you know that I believe public education, the K-12 system, is vital to the development of the workforce. And so if we're not doing things like putting computer science, real-world applications, hands-on learning in front of students every single day, then we're doing them a disservice, because 65% of the jobs that are going to exist for our kindergartners, most of our elementary schools now, don't exist yet. And so we must empower them with critical thinking skills, the ability to, come over adversity, problem solving, which are not unique characteristics that STEM education alone does. That's in several things, but certainly all employers are looking for that. And so we feel, very strongly that STEM education is just one pathway to helping students reach those goals and fill the gap in the workforce that already exists and is going to continue to be a problem. And also at the same time help increase students' math and science scores. And so we saw that successfully done last year in our pilot. We don't just say that as lip service or something to cast aside. It was a big deal. Those students that had these programs in their classroom did 20% better than their peers in their school and 20% over the district averages at the mid-year. So this was something that we considered a success, and why we replicated it and why we feel that it's really important to get into all 7 of our junior high schools by next year and build those feeder patterns into the junior high schools for the elementary schools that are really in the most need of help in math and science. And we've been working with our science curriculum specialist on that. And then we've also done a lot of work with our IT and STEM resource teachers. We've trained now over 150 educators in WAS education and hacking STEM and a number of other things. So we're ongoing to continue to build capacity in the schools for this, but this is just one thing that we are really excited about $72,000 already invested this year in that program. Other wonderful partnerships, events, things that we have going on. You heard about Grants for Great Ideas. We were able to fund about 109 of those this year. We saw a tremendous number of projects which we put on Donors Choose and had matched that were first-year teachers. They were really looking for some basic supplies. So we're hoping that those dollars go a long way in their classrooms. But we also saw those literacy and STEM programs that we were really looking for. Tools for Clay School Store is going really well. We've had over 400 teachers come. If you remember, we have a permanent store now, so come and see us. I know Ms. Karakis, Ms. Bola, you guys have been, and I believe Ms. Clark and Tina, you've been as well, and Ashley, I know you guys will all come to an event. We'll do it on January 3rd, it's the next one, so we're really excited, and we'll be giving away free school supplies. We have started a couple new things this year that you might not be privy to, one of which is the Aspiring Leaders Program. And this is not to be confused with Aspiring AP Program, which we did not mean to duplicate the name and be really confusing to everyone, but apparently that sort of happened. So we've done over 70 connections with folks who are aspiring to be leaders in their schools. So this is obviously principals, administrators. They might be current assistant principals. They can be athletic directors, teachers, whomever is looking to go into administration. We've partnered them one-on-one with experts, local experts, current principals in our county to get one-on-one, about 30, 45-minute training in just that particular topic area. And so we've seen a lot of great results from that, a lot of great feedback in some of the topics that they've covered so far. The cohort will be done in the spring, and then we'll welcome our second one. So another one fun thing that we're doing, and Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is coming to Clay County. So if you know about that program, you know that that's geared really towards 0 to age 5, and you might be wondering why the K-12 Education Foundation is worried about that. Well, the reading department here in the school district is obviously very, very passionate about getting all students reading on grade level by 3rd grade. And one of the main ways we think that we can support that, on top of providing intervention programs for some schools that are in need, is to actually focus on early literacy. And so what are we doing to ensure that kids, before they get to kindergarten, have books in their hands and are practicing those vital skills? So we are working with a group, Delta Kappa Gamma, which is a lot of retired educators here locally,
they came to us and wanted to start this program. So we're starting it in the 32043 zip code, which will end up being Charles E. Bennett, Lake Asbury, and Shadowlawn first. And the goal is, of course, to move it across the community so everybody has access. And then upcoming events, we've got the Clay County Alumni Hall of Fame, which is going to be the most notable event coming up here soon on December 3rd. We have 7 nominees that were selected by the community, and we are just really, I should say, very passionate about this myself, because I, too, am from Clay County and graduated from schools, and I believe that students need role models. They need to know that they can be successful. They need to see people that look like them and have walked the same shoes that they have, to believe that about themselves. So we're hoping that this award ceremony, where we bring in some really great folks, some Olympians, some Pro Bowlers, some musicians, and our sheriff, amongst other people, that this will really be a shining light for Clay County and that we should all be proud of. So hopefully I will see you there, and thank you for having me. It's always a lot of fun to come up here and share what we have going on. So.
Could you share the date for the Teacher of the Year event as well? Just the date, so we can put it on our calendars.
Oh, yes, ma'am. February 4th will be the Apple Awards ceremony. It will be at the Thrasher Horn Center, 7 p.m. The VIP reception will start at 5:30. That'll be upstairs like it was 2 years ago. So we'll be, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And that's
you.
also School-Related Employees of the Year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank
you so
you.
much. It's always a great update. Keep up the good work, Michaela. All right. Our next presenter, one of our favorites, Mr. Hans. You're going to be giving us a cost savings report. See, the good news just keeps coming. You know, this is good.
Phil Hans, Director of Maintenance, Clay County Schools. Address is on file. If you want to know where I work, it's 905 Center Street, Green Cove Springs. We're here. I'm here to reintroduce, again, our yearly introduction of Synergist Incorporated. They are doing our management of our energy program. We continue with this partnership, and they're here to present the numbers for the last year, since November of last year, kind of talk to you about that and where we're heading from there. So without any further ado, Roseanne.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us today. All right. Okay, again, we've met before, but I am Roseanne Jolly. I'm one of our synergistic energy specialists for Clay County District Schools. Mark is right over there. He's one of our other energy specialists as well. So let's get through the numbers business first, and then we have some fun stuff to get to today. So this year, when we look at our energy savings, our total program savings, program to date, so January 2016 until current, the school district has saved over $7 million. So you guys have done a phenomenal job, and it's not just one group of people. It takes the entire district. So everyone from up at the top to our operations department, all the way down to our custodians. I mean, they're really, really key in what we do. So we appreciate everybody's hard work and effort. You guys have done a great job. A little bit about what Mark and I have done. So far, we've done over 13,000 building audits. Obviously, that wasn't just yesterday, but that is program to date. So we've done that in the past 5 years. You'll notice that there's an asterisk by the Energy Star rated buildings, and that's because that is the current number, but it's not up to date. So COVID set us back. We weren't able to do the typical Energy Star certification because buildings weren't occupied the way that they typically would be. But we are in the process of starting the recertification for Clay, and that is going to be one of our focuses for Q1 of 2022. So we will get on that. Right here, you'll see that you have done more than just save a lot of money in utilities. The school district has also made a significant environmental impact. That right there is something that everybody should be really proud of as well. So now to the fun stuff. This year, we decided that we would do something to not just increase energy program awareness, but we really wanted to engage students in our energy program as well. So we decided that we would have a mascot contest. So what we did was we asked students to submit their entries, and they were based on, creativity and originality. We had 3 finalists, and then we would choose one of those finalists where they were voted to be the mascot for the energy program. Originally, it was going to be one from elementary, one from junior high, and one from high school. Unfortunately, we didn't have a junior high entry, but we had plenty of elementary school entries. And let me just say before we introduce the finalists that we have some very creative and talented students in our school district. I wish that I could recognize them all because there really were so many more than what we have right here. And so I almost forgot the good part for them. So because of a donation that we got from the Clay County Fair Association, each of those 3 finalists will receive 4 tickets to the 2022 Clay County Fair. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so our high school mascot contest finalist was Miss Hannah Wilkerson. She's in 12th grade at Ridgeview High School, and she submitted Ernie the Eel. It says Ernie the Eel says conserve energy, and so that was Hannah's contest submission. I'm not sure, is Hannah here this evening? Hi, Hannah. You can come on up if you want. There is a certificate here, and also inside here are your tickets. And if you want to hang out up here for just a minute, we'll do a photo op. All right, and our next finalist was Jacob Massey, and Jacob is a 6th grader at Lake Asbury Elementary. You want to come on up, Jacob? And our contest winner is, I'm not sure if it's Lila or Layla Everett. She is a 6th grader from Clay Hill Elementary, and her mascot is Remy the Energy Saver. And Remy was voted as the winner, so we have some goodies here for Layla as well. I'm not sure if she's here, though. Okay, well, I will deliver these to the school. So these are our mascot contest finalists, and Layla was our winner, so we'll deliver that. You guys did a really great job.
Nicely done. Excellent job. Thank you. Thanks to the students who came this evening as well. It's very good to have you here.
All right.
Continuing?
I think that we're good. Looking ahead, we're just looking at I already mentioned the 2022 Energy Star certifications. We do have some projects that we've been working with on Phil for the Thanksgiving break and the winter break so that we can expand our wireless programmable thermostat footprint. But that's really all that we have right now in the immediate agenda. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much. It's always good to save lots of money in that respect. At this time, this is the last call for comment cards. If anyone has not had the opportunity to fill out one of the comment cards, or if you have filled one out and not handed it in, our officer is right over here who will be happy to take your comment cards. There are a number of items that have been withdrawn from the adoption of the consent agenda that have been moved to the end of the meeting. And that includes, I'm just going to give you their numbers, C11, which is an allocation change regarding allocation changes, C16, which is the final Educational Facilities Work Plan, C20, Keystone Heights Elementary School New Cafeteria. C27, the advertisement for attendance of boundary realignment for Oakleaf and Orange Park High. C28, approve the advertisement for attendance boundary realignment for Oakleaf High and Ridgeview. And C29, approve advertisement for attendance boundary for Oakleaf Junior High and Orange Park Junior High. So a number of you have filled out comment cards for some of those topics. Those are going to be brought up at the time that we are discussing those topics. Currently, we have a number of people who want to make general comments, which is what we call for at this time. So what I will do is reminder, each of you has 3 minutes. There's a light on the podium that will flash yellow when you're almost out of time, and then red when you're out of time. If you are not done speaking, please forgive me if I cut you off, but we do have a number of speakers this evening, and we want to make certain that everyone has the opportunity to do so. Before I continue, I wanted to mention also we did not have a student showcase, nor did we have a school showcase. I know that that's on the agenda, and I just wanted to make note of the fact that those were not available this evening. So we're going to start with Virginia Bennett. Virginia? If you would, please give your name and address. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Virginia Bennett. My address is 6072 Juilliard Avenue, Keystone Heights, Florida. I've been a resident there for 37 years. I've lived at the same address for approximately 32 years. I have 2 grown children that have already gone through the school system. My son graduated early. My daughter preceding his name, my youngest daughter preceding his name, is now, in my opinion, being bullied out of the school system. My daughter she's very pretty, she's very popular, she is a very extrovert in school. She's had several incidences. Most of them have been not at her account. She was bullied and threatened, a girl threatened her, a girl came at her in the classroom, and she tried to deflect as long as she could. She then ultimately defended herself. For that, she was out of school suspension for 10 days. Then there was a hearing. We went to the hearing, and these people in this hearing, nobody will listen to what we have to say to any of this. It is just wrong. My child has played in the National Basketball Championships. We've gone to Knoxville. She has played at the Worldwide of Sports. She has done everything. She has her whole school planned out already. She has her dual enrollment planned out. She has everything and has for years. She's a very, very good student. And Keystone Heights High School is doing nothing but beating her down and pushing her around and trying their damnedest to kick her out of school permanently. There was a hearing set for last month. My paperwork says 5:30, and I was driving. My daughter was reading for the address. Yes, we did misread it. The first location said Bannerman. We went there, there was no one there. So we then in turn went to Clay High. We had a gentleman there that was a teacher, I assume an athletic teacher. He called and spoke with somebody on this panel that instant. It was about 5:31 p.m. He told me that they said everybody had gone, nobody was even there any longer. I mean, we were not too far down the road if we could have come. Since then, everybody had known that we were trying to get to come to this other hearing. I knew the hearing was today. A few days ago, a friend of mine I had tried previously to get a hold of via the phone. You can't get a hold of anybody on the school system via the phone, just so you all know. It's horrible. Everything has to be done through email. I don't do that very well. So since I came here for the hearing, the officer kicked me off the property. Told me about this hearing. So here I am. I come in, speak with Ms. Bola. She tells me, oh, well, I've heard all about you. And that's what I get. And that's all. I don't understand. So now, the paperwork I have states that, is that it? The paperwork that I get then states that she's to be in Bannerman until the hearing. She's still in Bannerman. Mind you, we live in Keystone Heights, Florida. They don't have a bus to take our children back and forth to school. Our children were out of school for 5 days out of the last 8 days. My daughter has eczema. It is on her entire body. Mind you, it is a disease that when you're stressed and you're worried, it makes it worse. It's on every single inch of her body as it stands now. And because we can't get any help. And I don't understand, and I need somebody to help us.
Yes, I believe you. Can I ask Mr. Brodsky?
I'd be happy to call you. Mr. Daly, if you can get the phone number so that I can call her and deal with all the issues. So there's so many things that you bring up at this particular time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patricia Schaefer.
Good evening. Welcome back. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I spoke at last month's school board meeting regarding bus issues and a few other things. I'm right back here to talk about bus issues. First off, I 110% support our bus drivers. They are busting their butts. As a lot of you know, I do research. So I took some time after Bannerman received notice that they weren't going to have school for 4 consecutive days due to lack of bus transportation to do a little research on busing. I'm quoting from a news article dated September 2nd, 2014. It was written by Heather Lay from News 4. Quote from then Transportation Director Wamberg. The district has about 200 drivers, but it would like to have 240 to make sure that all routes are covered when we have extended absences, vacation, call-outs, etc. Back in 2014, our district had roughly 35,000 students. 35,000 students, and they had 200 bus drivers. And they wanted an allocation for 240. Today, we have roughly over 39,000 students. In a news article published by CBS 47 Fox 30 on November 2nd, 2021, Gretchen Kerbow did a story regarding current bus issues in our county. It's published, please go read it yourself. She interviewed parents who their children are missing school 4 and 5 consecutive days because of bus issues. We already know that missing education last year because of the pandemic just widened learning gaps. This year, the gap is widening because we don't have transportation for students. That's not fair. In the story dated November 2nd, 2021, it states, and this was the release from the district. The district stated the staffing goal for bus drivers is 184 allocated positions. 184 positions in 2021 for over 39,000 students, when back in 2014, they wanted 240 bus drivers because they were short then. Something's wrong here, folks. We've known for 15 years that Clay County was going to have exponential growth. The busing, transportation issue is not going to go away. It's going to get worse. You know, yes, just please do something before we lose more drivers. It's unfair to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Dr. Shonda Nicole Holsey.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm Shonda Nicole Hosley. I'm at 2441 Pinehurst Lane, Fleming Island, Florida. And there seems to be a theme I see. I'm here to talk about the buses as well. Before I start, though, I would like to say that I did email each of you, and I thank Ms. Karekis for calling me, Ms. Bola, and Ms. Clark for emailing me back. I appreciate that. And congratulations, Ashley and Mary, on your new positions. I'm here because I have two daughters in the school district. One attends Thunderbolt, the other attends Green Cove Junior. I work from home, and I take my elementary school daughter to school every day, so the bus disruption hasn't been much of an issue for her. But my middle schooler, she takes the bus, and just this week, the bus driver missed their route. And so I was able to take her to school, but I just think about parents that are not in the position that I am in. What if there's a parent that's already at school? At work. What if there's a parent that doesn't have the transportation, or a car could be getting serviced or anything, and they're thinking that their child is safe, about to get on the bus and go to school? I looked on the agenda before I came to see if this was going to be discussed, and I did go back a couple meetings. I didn't see it, but I do understand from receiving information back from the 3 board members that contacted me that it is an issue that has been discussed. And I know, like the young lady just said, that it's been an issue for some time. But I just think about other parents, and I just wonder if there's something that we can do with the parents, maybe form some type of phone tree, some type of carpooling group to help, In Fleming Island, we haven't had consecutive days where the bus hasn't been there, so we've been fortunate. But for like Bannerman, for 5 days, what's being done with those parents? So I'm one of these people, I don't complain. I come and I bring an issue, but I also try to bring a solution. And I'm here to help. If there's something that I can do, I'm happy to do that, but I'm just wondering what creatively we are doing in addition to trying to get workers. We know that there's a shortage nationwide with employees or whatnot, so we know that. But what more above and beyond are we doing to try to help families that may not be as fortunate as I to work from home and be able to take my child to school when I need to? So I just ask for you guys to consider that, and if there's anything that I could do to help, I'm willing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Holsey.
You're welcome.
Barbara Smith. Thank you.
Pretty loud, so I don't usually need a microphone. So I would just like to take a second. My name is Barbara Smith.
Hang on just a minute. You need to speak into the microphone.
Okay, well,
first.
yes, ma'am.
And before you begin, let us get the paperwork
Yes,
so that
ma'am.
Mr. Brosky
Absolutely.
can have a seat. Thank
I
you.
handed some out to the audience prior to speaking as well.
Are you all ready?
Okay.
Hang on.
Is everyone ready? So
Okay,
I handed
yes.
these out to the audience, and I just wanted to take a brief moment, please. There are some transportation personnel. There's some transportation personnel here now. First, I'd like to recognize over here our transportation director, Daryl Sweat. Daryl, if you'd hold your hand up, please. Also, back in the back, we have Scott, who's one of our area/supervisors. We also have Lisa Spinnick. She's a routing, just now got promoted as a routing dispatcher, but has been a bus driver for many years. And we have Ina Zeno, who is our routing coordinator. She's been with the county for quite a few years. And Val Tripp. She's also a bus driver. And my name is Barbara Smith. I've only been collectively with the Clay County School Board for about 5.5 years. So I heard some of the transportation comments from the other people. So these are rounded figures, but they're relatively current. We just recently did an audit, and in the Clay County District, on your chart you'll see real students from our current audit for 2021 that just was completed this past month. ESC, meaning special needs, for all 3 compounds that we have 55, this is an average, but we have an average of 55 buses, and we also have, on those buses would be 55 drivers and 55 monitors. That's equivalent to 28 students. Those are your smaller buses and your ones that are kind of in between. That's a big load for ESC students, depending on what their disability is. Also, on the regular education average, right now, we have a total of 104 buses active. We have a larger fleet. We got plenty of room to put other drivers in. And with the current amount of students that we have for the real-time numbers, each bus, if we were to go, would average 112 students. A bus cannot hold 112 students. Today, recommended for safety purposes, even though the federal government has our buses saying can hold 77, we all know in reality that high school kids are big, they're even bigger in junior high, and they're growing big in elementary. High school, the safety recommended is approximately 45 students per bus. Elementary, we can get about 65 on per bus. Junior high, about 55. That's what we would like, but at this time, due, yes, to the amount of employees that we have, we are having to double back and double up. But believe me, we are doing our utmost best to serve our community. I know the light has gone on, but if you'll please be patient with me, I would appreciate it.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. So I introduced myself and some of my coworkers. The 3 bullet points that I put together here, 1, 2, and 3, the lady was looking for some areas for improvement. The first topic on 1 would be some of the things that I wanted to identify the transportation department that we're going through and what we could do to get better. 1, we now have 2 new dispatchers. We have 2 new routers. I'm one of them. We have numerous new drivers. We have new area managers. We do not have enough drivers. We have a data dispatching system. We know in the pipeline there's a new one coming, but that does play a role. And also, all of these things are not necessarily from 1 to 10. They're just issues. They're all important. People do need to understand that COVID-19 recovery and going from 50% ridership coming out of COVID to this year to full-blown 100% ridership, which in turn means double and triple the amount of students depending on the Clay County development. Example, Oakleaf is busting at the rims, Fleming Island's developing, Middleburg's developing, Lake Asbury's developing. So we have a need. Everybody knows. We also need training for our employees, but we have time restraints. And we're busy working, so we don't have time to educate our employees like we would or enhance their abilities to do their job better. Also, whether people want to address this or not, we do have language barriers. It's a growing concern in the community, and it's hard when you're transporting students and they can't tell you where to go. 2, this is for school administrators. The school administrators, examples, teachers, secretaries, and support staff. These are some things that I and some other people have told me that we could work on. We can always work on better communication. I think that's in every area at every place you work. But 1, if we could please get the schools to designate a person or a monitor with a designated phone line until at least 1 hour past dismissal of all schools. I can't begin to tell you how many children don't know their names, their addresses, their telephone numbers, and you try to call the school and get somebody on the phone, but once school's out, the kids are on the buses and the riders are picked up. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be insulting. Everyone seems to scatter. So here we are, left on a bus, trying to track down somebody to see where this child goes. This could be a resolution if we could get our school administrators to designate someone to do that. That way we could get the information and get the child home safely. We could have better follow-through on referrals. I've never seen so many children this year that have been going to Bannerman. I attribute that to COVID-19 and having so much freedom being out of a disciplined structure of a school. Also, address updates for parents and students. Parents' responsibility to get information to the school. Help staff understand how to better use Synergy. It's the tool that we have, and it's only as good as the information that the people are putting into it. Elementary marking, what animal characters they are for the buses. New students that are registered or new riders need bus passes to load on a bus. Right now, Mr. Broski, since you're the head of the school, can you please tell everyone in your staff that we cannot allow someone's best friend to go home with them on the bus on Friday? There are no courtesy passes that should be issued so Tom can go home with Jeff and then pack another child into a bus. So all of our current staff and people should know, please do not allow friends to get notes from their parents to get a ride home. We're doing our utmost to get your children home now. Students of all grades wanting to get off at different stops, that's a safety concern. They have to get a pass. And I do have a resolution. When students' routes are being split, which is what we have to do now, due to the shortage of drivers, we have to have a driver come up, load about 65 kids up. It's mostly affects the elementary. They have to leave another load or a certain amount of children behind, go deliver the other children, and come back. Sometimes they can double the students up. But while doubling the students up, we need to get the staff to better understand that if a child goes on, example, bus 100, but they're going to take bus 200 too, we need to get the staff to keep bus 200 students separate so that we don't get them mixed up and they're getting on wrong buses. And then we don't know where they go because they don't know where they go. And last but not least, parents. Parents, the big issue we had at the beginning of the year. Everybody thinks that the transportation department can change your address. We cannot. Current updated contact information for parents, address, telephone numbers, and emergency contacts are essential for our line of work. I can't begin to tell you how many times we have a contact number. The voicemail box is full. The number's been disconnected. They no longer live there. And there you are with a 6-year-old child not knowing what to do except take them back to the school, which delays time, the child's upset, and other things I'm sure you can think of. Have your children and your student to the bus stop 5 minutes before pickup time. We do robocalls for routes that may be late or early. This is another wonderful reason if you don't update your phone number through your school, you're not going to get your robocall. So I would really encourage people to do that. If there is a designated hotline or clear telephone number for dispatch to contact school, then some of these issues can be resolved. And on the last page, if your driver or parent if it's not mandatory, to exchange their cell phone numbers, it's a great way for parent to communicate information. There's other things that I could suggest at this point. Our preacher at the start said something that touched my heart in the invocation. And I want you to know that 95% of the people that work for the transportation work with servants' hearts.
Absolutely.
So I don't mean to be disrespectful to teachers or to administrators, but there are a lot of people out there that forget that there's these old guys and girls out there driving these kids around, and not a lot's talked about them. Believe me when I tell you, you always have a few bad apples, but 95% of our workforce has a servant's heart. And it's our goal to do the best for our community, for our children, and for our Clay County education system. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. May God bless all of you, and may we please sometime get together and we can work on some real quick issues. I'm pretty smart. And maybe we could make some mild improvements to help some of these parents' concerns. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Ms. Smith, thank you very much for all of this information. It was very helpful to all of us. And it helps to hear it from you.
Thank you.
Directly.
Yes,
and from
ma'am.
all of you who came this evening. Thank you very much for joining her.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it greatly.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Ellie Bennett. Ellie, it's my understanding that you're a student, so please don't share your address.
Did I start now? Oh, wait, my name's Ellie Bennett.
That's good.
Okay. So last year, I got sent to abandonment for fighting a boy, but before we fought, he tried to throw my phone out the window, and he broke my headphones apart, but Mr. Underwood told me that it didn't matter what was happened or what was said before because I, still hit him first, I took action into my own hands. So, I got a battery charge. I had to go through teen court. I passed all my drug tests. I finished all my stuff on time, and I had a job. But this year, I got in a fight with this girl named Tatiana, and she hit me first. But even though she hit me first, I got sent to Bannerman and expelled from Keystone. But I don't know what they wanted me to do, if they just wanted me to stand there. Mr. Underwood told me I got a level 3 referral because as we were arguing, I started popping off my nails. But if she walks up to me and starts talking about how we're gonna fight and I'm trying to take my nails off to defend myself, I don't understand how I got a level 3 referral. Because when I was in 7th grade, I got hit by the 16-year-old. I was 13 at the time. We fought in the cafeteria. If y'all have ever been to Keystone during lunch, there's 2 people that sit right there, 2 people that stand right there, one that stands between the bathroom and the hallway, and 4 different lunch lines. That means 4 different lunch ladies. Me and that girl, and if y'all let me have a hearing, I would like for y'all to play that video too. Me and that girl fought for 50 seconds. So are y'all telling me I was supposed to stand in that science room right next to the eye washing station? I also would like y'all to play the video of me and Tatiana this year because that girl's 200 pounds, y'all. She is so big. Was I just supposed to stand there and let her beat me? I don't understand. If she got a charge and everything, how I'm getting sent to Bannerman. Last year, I did basketball and wrestling. That's 4 hours of practice every single day after school. Every day. I had somebody that was calling me that was going to set up my online portfolio for sports. But that's not going to happen because I'm getting sent to Bannerman again. But I don't understand why I was sent. If she got charged for it and she hit me first, what was I going to do? And I think that it's bias. Because like my mom said, my brother and my sister have went to Keystone before me. Cops don't like me. Always been like that and never helped me, never done anything for me. At Bannerman, y'all don't understand. You don't learn nothing at Bannerman. A student will literally walk up to you, stick their tongue out, and have an acid tab on their tongue. It's so bad. You don't learn nothing. And I talked to Mr. McKinney about it last week, and I tried to tell him that I wasn't learning nothing, that they just give you pages, or like in Miss Pope's, we just sit on the computer all day, every day. We have 3. Yeah, but I just don't understand how I'm trying to do so good and I start doing good. And I just,
Ellie, we're going to be talking with you and your mom. And I know that we already have your family's phone number, and we will do what we can to help you. Thank you for speaking with us. At this time, we're going to move forward with the adoption of the consent agenda. Once again, items pulled to discussion were C11, C16, C20, C27, C28, and C29, which means they've been pulled for discussion. Not erased, pulled for discussion. So, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move approval. I'll second.
Ms. Karakis has moved approval. Ms. Gilhausen has seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Our CCA update, Ms. Kidwell?
Hi. Hard to follow that. You know, I had something completely different that I was going to say up here, but I think that the reality here is that the things that happen in school to these kids, that's their life. And we have to be listeners, and we have to really look at it from sometimes their perspective. I want to thank you for the opportunity to give you an update on the educator's perspective today as the union president. It's November, and in November, I think that we need to stop and count our blessings. And I do feel lucky. I feel lucky to be a part of this amazing community of educators that serve our students and support staff that are there every day that they can be. And, you know, all around us, we're hearing that labor and supply shortages in our schools and our staff and teacher shortages, and they're impacting our students every day. You know, crowded classrooms, you know, buses that don't get there, can't get the kids there because we don't have enough drivers. ESE support that we don't have, so a teacher is struggling without the aids that she needs. We know these things really impact the way kids learn. And they're on educators' minds and everybody who cares about public schools, and I know it's on your mind too. You hear it, you get the emails and the phone calls, and you're trying to problem solve those things, and I appreciate and I'm thankful because I feel like we have leadership in Clay that's listening to the people that are on the ground, that, you know, and the parents come up and they're trying to help you solve problems, and they're trying to give you their perspective. I've got to go to work and I don't have a bus, and I know that you are trying to help innovate and, you know, come up with new ways to solve these issues that everybody's dealing with. We know our kids have 180 days of school each year. That's it, 180 days to get all of the learning gains that we need to get into them. So every day they don't have a bus driver, a certified teacher, an aide to help with the small groups or their special needs. It's a day that's lost to their learning gains. It's not like when I go to the restaurant and, you know, they can't seat me because they don't have enough servers. You know, it's not like that. This is their life. You know, this is their first grade, second grade, 12th grade year, and it matters. So the burden is heavy for you all and for us too. And sometimes it can seem overwhelming, but still I'm thankful. I'm thankful for leadership that listens when I call and says, hey, you know, I'm worried about that too. I value the educators' expertise. I value their perspective, and I value the insight they're trying to give me into maybe even ideas of how we can resolve some of these issues. I know that recruiting, training and retaining our staff, educators, and support staff is at the top of our list, and I know it's at the top of your list, Mr. Broski. We are going to have to be innovative. We're going to have to be courageous, and we're going to have to think outside the box if we're going to solve a problem that is statewide and indeed nationwide, but impacts our kids every day. So I'm ready to get in there with you and help you solve these problems. I'm ready to listen to our educators and our staff professionals who have ideas, and I hope you are too, and reward them for stepping up and speaking up and encourage that, because, you know, it's going to take all of us working together to not only survive this, but thrive in it. And I'm thankful and I'm hopeful that we can, if we just keep working together. So I am counting my blessings, and I hope you are too. We're in Clay. We're going to do it together.
Thank you, Ms. Kidwell. Mr. Roberts, our CESPA update.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Lonnie Roberts, I'm support staff president. Also like to talk about, once again, and nobody wants to talk about it, but we're going to hear it over and over again about the short staff that's here. Mr. Broski, at your superintendent's comments, people heard you. They wish they heard that earlier, believe it or not. Trying to think of things to try to go ahead and get people to come in. They were just more hopeful in trying to get things done. I told them, I said, well, it's a long time coming. We're short-staffed. It's like that everywhere. And we're all trying to do the best that we can. And so I thank you for your comments, the comments of the board, and what they said on that day. I'm glad that we're trying to use everything in our toolbox in order to get things done. We've noticed it everywhere, but we still have a lot of people here that are 100% dedicated to their jobs, but we still have more work being put on them because we are short-staffed. We already got people doing 2 jobs. I got assistants, secretaries who's doing their job, as well as bookkeepers, and vice versa. Something around there's got to give if there's a deadline attached to that. The principal can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways with the custodians. If you want something done, let them know what is their priority. If you want some extra done, let them do overtime and pay them, not comp time. This comp time is not putting anything in their pockets. You're short-staffed, you're going to pay somebody else to do it anyway. So pay them the overtime at time and a half, please. We all are trying our best to go ahead and get through this together. We're all trying to get through it the best way possible until we get some kind of normalcy around this, the district, because it don't look like it's going to be anywhere time soon. Gas is $3.25 to $3.30 some places, and just to fill up my truck was $70 one day. I'm like, ouch, that's a lot. I'm not getting rid of my truck though. I'm keeping it. I don't care if I got to go less places. I'm keeping my truck. Just be mindful of your support staff. All administrators that's out there, people are working for you as best they can. Just talk to people. Communication is the best way possible to get through mostly anything, and treat people with kindness. That's the only way I can understand or to portray it to you, to let people know that they really appreciate everything that the board does. Mr. Broski, everything that you're doing. Like I said, the comments, I got phone calls and they wish they had heard that earlier. Continue to do what you're doing, and maybe instead of just a school board, maybe put out a notice someplace on what we're trying to do, where we're advertising, how we're trying to get more people into the district, because they're getting overworked on everything. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you,
Aaron Rodgers lied.
Well, hey, you know, There are times when I'm a Jaguars fan and other times I'm a Packer backer. So. But they did play really well last Thursday night. You got to say that. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. You Pittsburgh Steeler fan, you. All righty then. Mr. Broski, time for our superintendent's update.
So first, let me, thank everybody that spoke, and I want to speak to the transportation issue first. And the first thing that, sitting here and I'm watching this and listening to everybody, I see the transportation folks out there in the back, and I see a bunch of them. And the first thing, I just had a bunch of pride, come over me, because you're here because you say, you know what, I realize there's challenges, but darn it, we're doing a good job, and we're good people, and we're working hard. And that's the message I got from looking out there. That's certainly the message I got from Ms. Smith coming up and talking. I always get nervous when people pass out papers. By the way, Ms. Smith. But it's always good to provide information, because information provides context to folks, and it's important to have context. So in talking about transportation, there's some things that perhaps people didn't know about transportation, that perhaps the context of it would then make you more aware. It doesn't mean anything when it comes to a student that doesn't have a bus, and that needs to happen. But how about some things that, to be honest with you, I didn't know until I did a little bit of research. Clay County District School buses travel 7,767,000 miles per year. 7,767,000. So Lonnie, when you talked about the price of gas, imagine what happens to the district when the price of gas rises in such a way. How about this? There's 9,240 bus stop locations in Clay County, right? So that ought to provide some more context, in the sense that if a bus driver happened to miss one, that's one of many that are out there, and I don't know what that percentage would be. So when it comes to vacancies, currently in the state of Florida, there's 1,882 bus driver vacancies unfilled in the state of Florida. In Clay County, we have 155 routes with, currently we're 5 drivers short from those routes. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. 1882 across the state, 5 short of having a bus driver for every route in Clay County. The issue really is, and there's a plan to deal with part of this, is that that's under the assumption everybody's going to show up every day all the time, right? So you obviously want more people than you have. So I heard some folks talking about, hey, let's hire more bus drivers. We would love to. And in fact, we would like to even exceed our allocations. The reality is, statewide, 1882, it's just the positions aren't being filled, right? There's nobody that's taking the job. Why? Well, there's a nationwide shortage of people with driving and transportation, which is part of the reason why you see the supply chain issues that happen in all kinds of industries across the entire nation. So that's a reality. So then the question is, well, what do you do about it, right? Because that's great information, Mr. Broski, and I was amazed at 7.7 million miles. I got to tell you that much, to say the least. But there's several things we've done. We've done recruiting fairs. We're going to have another recruiting fair in December. We're stealing an idea from other districts in which they park a bus in front of Walmart and other high traffic areas. I have 3 incentive proposals that are going to be proposed to the board in executive session after this meeting. It's not like people aren't working on this issue. This is a tough issue, and it's a tough issue nationwide. And so, I'm always proud of the courageous people. One, I'm always proud that the board always supports our employees and has done so consistently with COVID leave, with insurance premium reduction, disaster relief payments, a 4-part plan to deal with substitutes, which we've tackled that issue. I'm confident we can tackle this issue too. I have complete confidence that we can do that. I'm very, optimistic that we can get there. And in fact, even some of the incentives, I'm kind of walking the line because I really can't talk about it till the board approves it. But at the same time, I'm excited to provide additional out of the box, I think was one of the, I don't know if that was Ms. Kidwell or who said the word out of the box, but all of those things are going on when it comes to transportation. So I'll get off of the transportation topic, but I know we had three parents, and I appreciate you, coming to speak about it. But then I look back and saw the transportation department back there in Mass supporting and showing the pride for what they do, and I felt like I had to speak to it today. So I'm going off the transportation thing, but I appreciate what you guys do, and I know it's a difficult job. I appreciate parents' patience. How about this? We just finished with the first quarter, just ended a couple weeks ago. We went through an even more difficult time pandemic-wise than we did the year before. There's supply chain shortages. So for example, how about this little fact? Clay County Schools, our food service folks, serve 5.8 million meals a year. 5.8 million meals a year. So, when you go on and you see somebody commenting about the quality of a chicken nugget on social media, that's one of 5.8 million meals that were served, right? It's always helpful when you have context to a scenario instead of focusing on the one issue. When it comes to transportation, absolutely, a bus has to happen for a child every day. Not denying that. But what I am saying is we got a great group of people in transportation that work hard, going to continue to work hard. And, we are in better shape when you look at the statistics than other districts. That doesn't mean anything to a parent that doesn't have the bus show up, and I know that. And so we're going to address that. So, I was just impassioned, one, by the folks, and Ms. Halsey, you were like, hey, I'll do whatever it takes. Help me. Tell me, and here's my plea. Anybody that wants to be a bus driver, give me a call. I will fast track you. Okay? We'll get you in touch with Mr. Sweat. We'll get you trained. We'll get you out there as soon as possible. And anybody listening, if you want to be a bus driver, please give me a call, and I will help you in that endeavor. Okay. Well, sorry about that. Today, I got a couple of things to talk about. I want to talk about being an academically high-performing district. What does that mean exactly? I want to talk a little bit about our School of the Month. We have a big announcement in that regard. Our Principal and Assistant Principal of the Year, our Teachers of the Year, student celebrations, and of course, the infamous COVID update. So, how about this? Clay County named an academically high-performing school district. You might ask, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? One, it's based on our school district grades, as well as class size, as well as our audit report. So it's kind of like a three-part one, where it's looking at student performance in the classroom, it's looking at class size, and it's also looking at budgetarily how we do. And we know that Doc Legutko and her crew do a great job of managing our finances, and we're very proud of our fiscal conservative nature when it comes. There's 16 counties out of 67 that earn the designation. So on to, here's a little graphic that Trudy made for us. And of course, I wouldn't be talented to make one of those, so don't even think that I designed that. Okay, but you could see we're a top 10 school district. You could see all the achievements on the right-hand side. You could see the 93.4 historic graduation rate. You could see a little bit about the half-cent sales tax, in the center there, and talking a little bit about some of the projects related to what we're doing with that, our industry certification, our school choice programs for parents. So. Maybe it's just a mindset, but when somebody hands me a half a glass of water, I always see it as half full. And I never see it as half empty. Why? Because I see the people that I work with every day, right? So Those are the things that I try to focus on while solving other issues. School of the Month. Last month, we talked to you for October. It was about anti-bullying stance. We have the winners. This is audience participation. Can I get a drum roll, please? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here are the winners. Montclair Elementary, Ridgeview High School. We want to congratulate them. Remember the theme last month was Building Buddies, Not Bullies. It was an anti-bullying campaign. Proud of them. So what are we doing this month? This month, according to the state of Florida, the DOE, it's Family Engagement and Caregiver Collaboration Month. And so we want to encourage you to vote for your school if they're doing something fantastic in that area. When I see this and I see family engagement, I always remind people that school systems only work if 3 groups of people are working together. One is what you all think is education, which is the traditional education. The principal, the superintendent, the school board, the traditional educators, right? That's 1/3 of the stool. No stool can stand with just one leg. It takes all 3 legs. The second leg is our parents. Parents, we can't do it without you. Students are only with us a very small amount of time. When you put it in perspective, the number of hours that students are with the Clay County District Schools as compared to the 180 days versus 365 in a year, plus the other time that's with you. We need your help. And the third is our community. And we're blessed in our community to have supportive people that support our school system. So all 3 of those. And so if you want to nominate a school, please go on to our website and do so. Everybody gets a trophy, right? And money towards it, a lunch for that group. You can display your trophy proudly, okay, as our School of the Month. Principal and Assistant Principal of the Year. First, Jennifer Collins. We're going to play a little video, and I'm going to turn it over to the booth to go ahead and play it. Fantastic principal, elementary, Fleming Island Elementary School. So give us like a 30-second flavor of this, Miss Dennis. All right. I've got a special announcement for this class. Your very own Miss Collins, Clay County's Principal of the Year. So you guys have no doubt that Miss Collins is an awesome principal. And we're glad to celebrate. So the interesting part there is her daughter's in the class, and we threw the ruse that there was an emergency that happened to be in the same room that her daughter was in. So a mother's instinct took over. We really didn't anticipate that part of the whole story. But as a mother, she went charging down there, and she thought something had happened, you know, and her daughter was in the room, and that's when we all came in. We didn't think about it. We wanted it to be that room because the daughter was there. And I'll just tell you, as a parent myself, watching the daughter's face when her mother got the award was just priceless. That was the key thing, you know, for me as an observer at that time. It was really outstanding. So congratulations to Ms. Collins. She will be here at the next board meeting. And then I'm not really sure, Ms. Dennis, you might have to work the magic in there. Assistant Principal of the Year, Tyler Woods from Oakleaf High School. Assistant Principal up there. Give us a little 30-second snippet if we could, Ms. Dennis. I just love the music on this one.
All right, attention students, we've got a very important announcement today. I appreciate your time. We've got some very important people on campus, but none other than your Assistant Principal of the Year, Mr. Tyler Wood. Congratulations to Mr. Wood. He does so much for us. It's typical of exactly who he is, that he's in here helping with the trash, trying to make lunches go between. Those of you that know Mr. Wood knows that he's got a big heart for students, and if you get a chance during lunch today, come tell him congratulations. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so congratulations to them, and they'll be here at the next board meeting. And I'll just tell you, you know, being a principal in today's world, it's even tougher than than before, so we appreciate what they do for the organization. We also have our Teachers of the Year and our School-Related Employees of the Year. You know, they had their pinning ceremony. I know many of the board members were at one or both of them. You can see their picture up there. Here's their whole listing. I know you can't read the names, but they'll be coming up on the December meeting. We'll have another way to celebrate them. The actual ceremony for our Teacher of the Year is February 4th, and so we're working towards that. Student celebrations, you know, because of COVID, this was my first character parade ever, was this year. And let me just tell you, it was you get to do a couple of cool things as superintendent, not many, and this was one of them. And so I was at Charles E. Bennett, passing out candy. I'm hoping the parents appreciated that and I didn't get in any trouble. And then at Patterson, they had a character parade there. The parent participation there, you see Mr. O'Brien with his hat and his badge and everything else. You know what? School should be fun.
I'm looking at that bottom lower right picture. Is that like a Men in Black costume or something that you got the shades on?
No, when I actually walked in with the students, and it was really cool, the students were walking around the front parking lot, if you could, of Patterson, and all the parents were out there, and they were looking like, what is your costume? And I would just say, superintendent, and they would just laugh at me, and then we'd all move on. But I guess, one of the things I want to point out is, gosh, isn't it nice for students to have fun and to go to school, and just how blessed we are to be in this state, in this county, and where we are, so never underestimate that, and I certainly don't do that. Of course, learning's important, and I even got on to Mr. O'Brien. We probably had a little conversation before that photo, and he goes, well, not a lot of learning today, but a lot of good experience. And I said, you're right. It was one of those days to celebrate, and of course, students became very sugary, and then we sent them home early. And I did have a parent comment and said, but don't worry, Mr. Broski, Sunday is actually the day, and we'll get them all sugary and we'll send them back to you. So COVID-19 reminders, I would just say that I'm proud of our district, and I'm proud of the board and the way that we've handled the pandemic, in which we've tried to make school as normal as possible, move things back to the way that it was, but always taking in mind safety of students. I ask parents, if your child's sick, please do not send them to school. I would have said that before the pandemic. It's re-emphasized because of our current situation. So, I'm hopeful that the numbers don't rise back up again. If the data is correct, they will in January. That's what's happened in the previous year. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I think we should all know that is a possibility, And that's it. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. We're moving on to the discussion items. And our first discussion item is naming School R. A little bit of background here. We have the exciting privilege this evening to choose the name of what will soon be our newest Clay County District School, currently referred to as School R. It is an elementary school. It's interesting, I've been reading certain posts and things and people saying, we didn't even know we were going to get another school right now, and I'm thinking, oh, we're just starting. It's going to continue coming pretty much, I would assume, yearly from here on out. Remaining consistent with school board policy, we convened a committee of 15 individuals, including community members and Clay County District Schools administrators. This committee worked enthusiastically, and I know they worked enthusiastically because I saw them working at lunches and at different places, trying to come up with ideas. They came up with 15 different names. No, I'm sorry. The committee The committee made 5 outstanding proposals, I apologize, of school names that they eventually narrowed down to 5, handed it over to the superintendent. He then made the top 3 choices out of that, and now they are presenting them to us. And do we have slides with them on it? Okay, there are 3 that are listed. I'm going to just tell you what the 3 were. First is a Spring Park Elementary. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Exactly what we said.
I know. I know, and that's exactly, we've talked about this briefly at the last workshop, and we were looking at it going, is it similar to other schools? The background, I just want to give you a little bit of background on each of these names so you understand where we're coming from. Spring Park Elementary, it would be home of the Minnows, and the Spring Park Minnows would graduate to junior high Dolphins and then to high school Sharks. That was the idea. We all know that Spring Park is in Green Cove Springs, and so that was the idea behind that particular school name. A quick comment to the rest of the board. If, let's say, we like the name of a school, but we would prefer a different mascot, we can also do that. So there's a little bit of give and take here. The second option was Black Creek Trails Elementary School, and it was suggested to be either the Ramblers or perhaps the Rangers. I think there were a couple of different names that were thrown out there. There is no place in Florida richer in history than the Black Creek, and the village of Middleburg, formerly the town of Black Creek. At one time during the mid-1800s, Middleburg was the principal post for water shipments in the state. Boats came up Black Creek from the St. Johns River loaded with lumber, cross ties, wood, and cotton for distribution throughout the state. Black Creek is a very deep, and in places it's over a quarter of a mile wide. Boats are fairly deep draft, can navigate it easily. This was the description of this area to early mariners, and about 10 years after the settlement of St. Augustine, several Spanish families moved into the interior of Florida and settled on Black Creek, near where Middleburg is now. And third, Magnolia Mills Elementary School. And this would be, their mascot would be the Owls. A U.S. post office was established at Hibernia on June 19, 1849, but its name was changed on October 17, 1853 to Magnolia Mills. And on July 30th, 1866, it was ultimately changed to Green Cove Springs. So the original name of Green Cove Springs was Magnolia Mills. First development of the area to become Green Cove Springs was by George Clark in 1816 from land he received from a Spanish land grant. Mr. Clark used the land for construction and operation of a lumber or sawmill for harvesting of live oak trees. And here again, it would be the Magnolia Mills Elementary School Owls. I mentioned if the board desires, they may propose alternate school mascot suggestions for any of the 3 schools' name being considered. We have had a little bit of discussion. For further discussion, I will need a motion. In order, with this motion, my request is that you select one of these and give it a specific motion. Does that make sense? Name and, yeah.
I'll move that we approve Spring Park Elementary as the name with the Owls as the mascot.
So it's been moved that we adopt Spring Park Elementary as the name with the owl as the mascot. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second for discussion.
Got it. So there is a second.
I'm not committing.
I understand. Ms. Gilhausen has moved and Ms. Kirkus has seconded. Discussion.
All right,
Go
so
for
if
it,
we
Ms.
don't like
Kirkus.
any of the 3, can we see others?
Not according to the policy. It's the committee gives 5, I give 3.
Could you?
Mr.
Sorry.
Bickner, can we send it back and ask for different ones, or do we have to choose these 3?
I don't know, that's without precedent. And, you know, in all the time I've been here, I've never seen anybody send it back for
Leave it to me.
a rerun. If you have a deadlock and you can't decide on something, I don't think you have a choice but to return it to from whence it came and try again. So can you do it? I think it's feasible. Have I ever seen it? No.
Well, I'll tell you my opinion. I really like the Black Creek Trails, but I agree with Ms. Gilhousen that it has to be Green Cove Springs. I don't care for Magnolia Mills at all. And I'm worried that Swimming Pan Creek and
It's gonna be
Spring
just like she
Park
did.
Elementary is going to be confusing. You know, and I know the letters are SPC and it would be SPE. That's my concern with that. I like the idea of Spring Park, I do. Much, much better than Magnolia Mills. My first choice would be Black Creek Trails, except
It's not Green
so
Cove.
maybe the next school. We'll save
No,
that one.
there
but-
is a creek that runs, it's a very small one. There's a finger of a creek, and I'm not sure which creek it is. I don't know if anybody is a geography expert on Clay County geography, but there's a creek that runs, there's a neighborhood close to where the school's going to be built called Jeremy's Glen, I think. And there's a creek that runs back there that would be close to the elementary school.
Right.
So, but
Is it
again, if
connected
we
to Black
can't,
Creek in any way?
I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure.
I know, I like the idea of it being something to do with Green Cove, so it's my take.
Is it Peter? Where's Peters Creek?
Peters Creek is up,
I think that might be Peters.
It's further south in
It's in Green Cove, isn't it?
Green Cove, yes.
I think it might be Peters. I know Governor's Creek is in Green Cove.
right,
Yeah.
that's the first one you come across.
But I don't think that
And
Governor's
Swimming
Creek
comes
runs
up at
that.
Doctor's Lake, yeah.
I want to say it might be Peters Creek. Anyway, it's beside the point if we can't
Right.
reconsider the names. So of these three, that's what I was going on. That
Yeah.
Spring Park Elementary
I'll
of
be
these three
honest,
would be.
I wasn't really crazy about the other two. Like I said, I like the I like the idea of the Black Creek
I do
Trails,
too.
Elementary Ramblers. I just thought that sounded really like, you know, like the Explorers.
Well,
So-
keep it on the back burner when we build a school in
The
Middleburg,
next,
right?
right.
There are going to be more schools built in this area, I
Yes.
believe so.
For sure.
Ms. Clark, any input?
I think there's a Spring Park Elementary in Jacksonville, but you've got Willow Springs, a little subdivision right across, and you've got Saratoga Springs around the corner. So it kind of fits in there nicely. Black Creek, I know it's Middleburg, but I still think about during World War II especially, that's where they took the subs and the ships to test the ballast in World War II and the Korean War. So there's a lot of history still with
There
that
is.
area. Not fond of the minnows, because as someone said, they get eaten. So, but I like the owls. I'm surprised we don't have an owls already for a mascot. And really, I mean, the only thing with Magnolia Mills is I don't think enough people know about it. So if we want to remind people of our history, even though it was only 13, 14 years, it was the name of the area, so.
I guess we should be grateful that it's not called Rosemary Hill Elementary.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement with that one. And somebody mentioned, and it's interesting because it is close, but it's not like right on top of Rosemary Hill.
No, not
It's
at
in
all.
the area, but it's not close at all.
close.
They would not be building those
Close.
subdivisions if it was as close as it is, yes. Ms. Bullock, any comment?
Well, of course, my concern is just like when you went to say swimming pen and it was all of a sudden Spring Park, so there's a little confusion there. And I would agree with Ms. Gilhousen, I'm not the big minnows fan, and there's no guarantee they're going to become a dolphin and then a shark, and of course one's a
That's
fish
not
and
quite
one's
the way
a
it
mammal,
goes
so,
either,
you know,
yeah.
so I don't know about all that. I really like the Black Creek Trails Elementary School as well, just because there's such great history there. And, you know, everybody identifies Black Creek, but I understand what you're saying, that it's really not Middleburg. So, and again, the owls is, I think is a better, a better mascot than a minnow. I mean, I'm thinking it could be guppies, there could be anything smaller, I'm not sure, you know, but anyway.
They're all edible, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So what would be your first choice? The Spring Park Owls?
Probably that would be more, Spring Park Owls, I would say would be a more appropriate title.
I was leaning towards the Magnolia Mills because of the history, because that used to be Green Cove. And then I just got the Clay County Parks and Trails brochure that was handed out recently, and was looking where this school is located in relationship to these three areas. And truly, I ran it past one of my best resources, and that is my grandson. And I shared with him all three of these, and he said immediately, Grammy, it should be Spring Park Elementary because that's where I've played. And I started thinking about the kids that are going to this school. And one of the key parks in the area is Spring Park Elementary.
It is an
And I would
icon.
assume that many of them have been there. I know there are plenty of us as adults who go there and have lunch or just even go for a walk along the river. Distance-wise, I marked it on this map. I marked where the school is in relationship to the three. Yeah, we could go with any three of these, all of these. I mean, it's right in the back door of Magnolia, the Magnolia Area Country Club. It's near the Black Creek Trails. It's near Spring Park Elementary. Some have said, well, Spring Park, there are going to be more schools in the Green Cove Springs area, so one of them can be using that name. And in relationship to the name confusion, we already have WES and WEC as Wilkinson Elementary and W.E. Cherry. And we'll get the hang of it. And so personally, and no bias, of course, because of my grandson, I would prefer the Spring Park Elementary Owls. But that's just me.
What was your first choice?
Magnolia Mills was tending to weigh on me, but I think Spring Park for this one, Owls definitely. Comfortable with that.
Have we convinced you, Ms. Karakis?
Yeah, yes, I mean, I'm fine with any of them, really. I mean, I would have liked more choices. Let's change that policy for the next time.
Well, I'm judging from what we did on the consent agenda. I think we're going to be seeing this coming up again in the near future. So the motion has been made for us to name our new school Spring Park Elementary and have the owl as their mascot. Ooh, I hear some applause back there.
I do wish that we had it up there so everybody could
Could
see what
see,
we're
yes.
talking about. I kind of feel like
So
they're at a
it-
disadvantage,
And and I'm looking at it on my computer, but unfortunately, yes. Any further discussion? All in-
I just want to say what an
okay.
honor it is to be able to be a part of this.
Oh,
So,
gosh, yes. Oh,
it's
gosh,
nice.
yes.
And we
I
need to
mean-
thank our committee.
Oh, yes.
The committee that brought, did you say it was 15 options
There were
originally?
15 people.
And then they brought 5 to you? Right.
And
So
I know when I
working
ran
into
into
it.
some of these folks when they were working on names, they were trying to come up with ideas. I said, so what are you doing? And this particular gentleman said, well, I have to come up with 6 ideas, 6. And so if all 15 of those people each came up with 6 ideas,
That's a lot of
can you
ideas.
imagine what it took to come down to 5?
Can you imagine what some of them were?
Oh, my gosh. My gosh, it was, well, I'm sure Rosemary Hill was somewhere.
I'm so grateful they didn't choose that.
Okay, let's vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carried it. We now have a new school, no longer School R. I have to get back to my voting screen, sorry. There we go. All right. Moving right along. The next item is my item, and it is D2, approval to advertise and notice a public hearing to approve a school board resolution renumbering the school board member districts. And Mr. Bickner handed out a new copy. If you would please look at the resolution. The resolution that was listed has had an effective date later than I had anticipated, and so I talked with him, and he changed number 4 on the second page to the effective date for implementing the renumbering set forth herein shall be December 30th, 2021. This is just for advertising this change. As was mentioned earlier, we have 3 of our districts in the school board have different district numbers as the county commission. And with the realignment of our districts and with everything that we're doing, I brought forward the opportunity or the idea to change our numbers because the county commission is not able to, according to statute, change any of their district numbers. So I brought forth that we would be changing school district number 2 would be renumbered as school district number 3. School district number 3 should be renumbered as district 4, and school board district 4, which is mine, would be renumbered to be district 2, which would then coincide with the BCC. And everybody would have the same number and we would not have any discrepancies. Currently, school board district 1 and school board district 5 are in alignment with those numbers, so those 2 would not be changing. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll move approval.
Ms. Gilhausen has moved approval.
I'll second.
Ms. Clark has seconded it. And is there discussion?
Oh, you know it.
I realize that.
So I've made some calls and talked to some others. There are a lot of districts in the county that have identical lines, which of course we do not, which, we don't know how the county commission is going to vote, but hopefully they'll adopt the same map that we will. After speaking with our executive director from FSBA, she said in her eyes it was more important to have the identical lines so that the number doesn't really matter as long as everybody's boundaries are the same. And I kind of feel really strong about that. We tried to do that 10 years ago. There was some politics involved, and it didn't happen with the county commission changing theirs. I think and I understand the conversation the other day, it's easier, some feel that it would be less confusing for the citizens to have the same number for both. But I do think it's confusing, will be confusing because every election cycle, it's a 1 through 5. It's always even is one governmental body, odd is the other. So now, and I see you've changed this because originally when you brought it and talked to us about it, it was for the 2024 election cycle, wasn't it?
No. I had asked that it be in alignment with what we were doing with the realignment of our districts. I hate using the word redistricting because I don't want to confuse it with
Right.
anything we're doing.
Realignment is
The
good.
realignment of our districts.
Well-
And it's my understanding that the county commission has approved
Did
the
they approve their
same.
maps?
They didn't, it's for advertising.
Okay.
The same thing that we're going through. They have to advertise for a certain period of time, but it's the same map because numbers-wise, the map that we had spoken of at our last workshop was the best. So, because it
Right.
stayed within the parameters that we were required
So
to
they'll
have.
be identical, like right to the house on the street in the corner, which is really important. that
It's
they
my
are.
understanding,
Right.
yes.
So I guess my other concern is, we've been doing our Form 6s, and some of you are going to have to do it different numbers. It doesn't affect districts 1 and 5, but it does the other. But this next election cycle, instead of districts 1, 3, and 5 up for reelection for the school board and 2 and 4 for the county commission, it'll now be 1, 4, and 5, and 2 and 4. So I think that's kind of confusing to the community. I mean, it's just my opinion. I'm one person, so, the majority of the board will vote. But I just personally am not in favor of changing the numbers.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I think, Ms. Clark, you were the only one running at the same time as a commissioner from your district?
I thought Mike Sella ran into the same issue with.
No, Mike Sella is County Commission District 1, which is this, and my seat is
Right.
School Board District 1,
'Cause
and
he
we run
ran-
at opposite times.
Maybe when he
So
was
Right.
helping others.
JB Renninger might be the same.
You and JB ran at the same
Right.
time.
Had
Right.
the same problem. People didn't understand.
Because
I don't
2 and
think
4
people
weren't the same.
pay
And
as
Right.
close attention to the numbers of, what's coming up to a vote as they do when they get flyers for the same people in their district and their different numbers. always ask, why is this, why can't you get it aligned?
And I think you're gonna find that with Betsy Condon. What district is Betsy Condon? Is she 2 or 4?
She's 4.
So you're gonna be, so this next election cycle, whoever runs for District 4 for those 2 seats, it's gonna be 2 District 4s up, which
Right, which, I mean, this next election cycle,
might be
it would be
confusing.
2022 for
It might be,
Betsy.
who am I
Because she
voting
was
for
just
which?
filling in.
You know?
So
Yeah.
the same thing happened with
Yeah.
Ms. Clark, yeah.
So I just personally think that that will create more confusion because everybody gets their, a voter identification card that tells you what your district is for voting. And everybody gets a sample ballot with the names of who they're voting for. So I don't see the confusion. And in all these years, like I told you, I've had maybe one person comment about the different numbers. The different boundary lines, absolutely, especially with the county commission, District 1 going all the way down to the county line.
And that was
school
truly
board-
political,
And
yes.
school board being, right here, and we changed the school board line to match what they previously had. So, I can't support this, but, the majority of the board will, vote.
Ms. Bullock?
Well, of course, as I've expressed before, I'm a little concerned about some unintentional consequences, and because of, we're elected countywide, so everybody votes, no matter what district we're in. The population all votes for us, so it's never really been an issue as far as that goes. And, I mean, if I were to ask you to close your eyes unless you couldn't see up here, what district are we in, you probably couldn't answer that. Most people couldn't say what district they're in. I mean, I've had, in fact, I was at a presentation of a memorial, and J.B. Reniger said, "What district are you?" And he's a county commissioner. He had no idea what district I was in, one way or the other, so, but anyway.
Now, keep in mind, I believe there's people who've already filed to run for school board for this next
Yeah, they have.
election cycle. So if they're filed for District 1 or 5, they're okay. But if they filed for District 3, now they've already opened up a checking account with, a candidate of, although I don't know if your district number is on it or not, but if it is, all of that has to be changed. All their paperwork has to be changed. So we're creating, an issue for that for whatever people have already filed.
Any further discussion? Okay, let's call the question. It has been moved by Ms. Gilhausen and seconded by Ms. Clark that we approve to advertise the notice of public hearing. And Mr. Bickner, it's my understanding that we can go with the change in the resolution
That was gonna
as
be-
you have presented to us.
That was going to be my question, is are you including that as amended tonight by what's been handed out? Then
Did
that
you
can be-
include that in your motion that you?
I can amend my motion to include the amendment made to the resolution.
Can you amend your second to the motion too? Okay, got it. All right. So as has been amended in the resolution, that would take place then, if approved in December, the effective date for implementing would be December 30th, 2021. And this is simply for, just a reminder, this is for the advertisement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes carry it by a vote of 3-2. Moving on, we have our first special, Human Resource Special Action A. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move approval.
Ms. Carrick has moved approval. Was there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Gilhausen, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mine didn't come
I
up.
think that automatically, Bonnie's catching up.
Okay.
Sorry. Miss Honora. Okay, thank you. There we go. And human resource for D4, human resource special action B. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move approval.
Ms. Karakis has moved approval.
Second.
Ms. Gilhausen has seconded it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes carry it. And human resource special action C. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
This time, Ms. Gilhausen moved approval and Ms. Karakis seconded it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oops. My votes just went away? Did it? Okay.
Two.
And there is no human resource special action D. All right. C11, proposed allocation changes for 2021, 2022, pulled by Ms. Bullock.
Thank you. I pulled that item primarily because, and I know that Dr. Legecko did say she had reached out to me. I didn't get to talk to her, but it wasn't any concern other than the fact that I think we ought to have more than one mental health counselor allocated. And I know that staffing those positions have been hard to fill, but I want us to make sure that we have plenty. I mean, we've seen more discipline referrals, and you know when that happens, that's a cry for mental health counseling. I know we've got more attendance issues, and of course, some of it's regarding the buses and all of that, and we have. I know there's some waiting lists for kids, and I just feel like we need to increase those allocations, and I'd like staff to kind of look at that. And again, I'm especially thinking if you interview for this one position, maybe we'll get several, and you'll say, "Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if we had a second or a third one?" So that's my thought.
Duly noted, Ms. Bullock. There's
Okay.
no doubt you are 100% correct in all of that. So staff will take a look at that.
Okay.
We'll make sure that the allocations are spread equally throughout the district so that all students have service. And of course, one of the things that we did, the board approved a contract with a third-party vendor
Right.
to provide services because we found that sometimes services weren't provided in a timely manner because they couldn't keep up. And so great success with that program, but mental health has definitely risen to the top of the list for students as well as adults.
Yes, thank you.
Did we have a motion and a second before discussion?
No, we didn't, and
I'm
thank
sorry,
you
I
for saying that.
apologize.
That's quite all right. So do we have a motion for approval?
I'll move approval.
Second? And Ms. Clark seconded. Now discussion.
Well, I did have a comment about it, and it's not about anything that's on it other than the drastic number of changes that took place on that were added at the 48-hour mark. And I'm concerned because it seems more often than not, we have a lot of things being added at the 48-hour mark, and the backup should be there at 7 days. And that 48 hours is supposed to be for an emergency type item. And I realize some of this stuff maybe is extremely important that we have it. It is, but they know they're going to need it, and staff has deadlines, and I think we need to make sure that the backup for everything is there 7 days in advance. Just like, and this is off topic for the allocations, but like this last workshop we had, I think that was imperative that we would have had the backup attached, especially since we all asked the month before, and none of those maps were up there again. So I just want to ask Mr. Superintendent and the staff, and Ms. Bulla, as the chairman, I know you review the agenda. Please don't approve it if the backup's not there. You have that authority to make sure it's part of your job to make sure that the agenda is ready. When we get it 7 days in advance to review it, we should have the time to really review it and not have to wait. And then at 48 hours, that allocation list went from 4 things to 24 things, 18 things? So That's my ask, that we please make sure things are on the backup 7 days when it's published. Thank you.
You have been heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. C16.
We didn't vote.
You did vote.
Oh, sorry, thank you. So confusing tonight. Thank you. Ms. Carrick has moved and Ms. Clark seconded it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll hear a motion for C16 to adopt the final 2020-21, 2022 to 2025, 2026 Educational Facilities Work Plan.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Discussion, Ms. Bullock?
Yes, I'd actually pulled that one, and Bryce Ellis did reach out to me from the operations department, but I just want the public to know, I guess because the title of it says adopt the final plan, I just want the public to know that this is a fluid document that can be added to, updated, et cetera, as needs arise. Because when it says finals, it's like it's in stone, and I would just want to make sure that we're all aware that as there are things that might change, that could be changed as well. That's
That
my
is very correct,
concern.
yes. And we hope that, well, we'll just leave it at that. Ms. Gilhausen has made a motion, Ms. Carrick has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. C20, I'll entertain a motion for Keystone Heights Elementary School new cafeteria classrooms architect contract award.
I'll move approval.
Ms. Gilhausen has moved approval. Ms. Clark has seconded it. Ms. Bullock?
Yes, I have, it's me again, Elizabeth. First, I want to thank Ms. Ellis and the operations department for a near impossible task of trying to address all the needs from decades of maintenance issues. I also want to thank the public for their support of the sales tax, which is truly needed. With that being said, the sales tax was intended to repair and replace for a more permanent need, not a Band-Aid type approach. It is said that if you keep doing things the same way, you will keep getting the same results. I feel redoing the cafeteria and adding classrooms to Keystone Elementary School is doing just that. The school is overcrowded, one of the oldest schools in the county, is lacking in space. This also does not address narrow walkways, breaking water pipes, using a public road for bus loading and unloading, and the list goes on and on. I have every intention of voting for this because hopefully it will offer some relief, even though building while school is in session is not very educationally sound. However, I'm extremely disappointed that the district is not doing what I feel was promised to the community of Keystone Heights when the passage of the sales tax. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I will say, like I told you at the workshop, I got to sit in on the architect interviews, and many of the ideas pitched addressed not just what's listed here, especially the one that I told you that was so just, they had a heart for Keystone. They built the original school. So they did a site visit, and they had pictures of the water pipe issues and the drainage, and so they want to address everything that's been problematic on that campus, and I have every confidence that they will in their plans.
They will. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we move on to C27, we have a number of people who would like to speak on the following topics. Is Adam Warren still here? Thank you, Adam. Would you please come forward? You have 3 minutes in which to speak. I know that, and first of all, let me say thank you for waiting so patiently. I didn't realize that these would all be moved to the end, and I was assuming that most of you would be talking at the beginning, and we learned about this move right before the meeting started. So feel welcome to come to the podium. Once again, you have 3 minutes in which to speak. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Adam Warren from 2839 Harvest Moon Drive, Orange Park, Florida. First of all, thank you all for your hard work and your dedication to keep our kids safe, especially through these trying times. As Dr. Brzezinski said earlier, you know, it's great to be in Florida. It's great to be in Clay County. And so note that we do appreciate what you've done to allow our kids to at least be back in school and all that good stuff. So the reason I'm here, I'm a father of 4 kids, all currently enrolled in Clay County school system. One is now in Oakleaf Junior High. The other 3 are in Argyle Elementary. As a parent, it is our job to protect our kids at all costs. So I asked a simple question. Do any of you by chance know how many sexual offenders live around the Oakleaf Junior High or the Oakleaf High School? It's 1, and that's within a mile radius of that school. By chance, I'm sure you don't realize how many live around the Orange Park Junior High and the Orange Park High School. That answer is 22. 22 live within 2,500 feet of those 2 schools. 9 of the 22 live within 1,500 feet of those schools. 2 of those individuals live in the same house within approximately 1,200 feet of the junior high. There's a lot of other issues that are going to be brought to your attention. That is one of my big bullet points. We could talk about the 6-lane highway mega highway Blanding that they're going to have to go up to now off of Argyle. We could talk about all the other problems that could be there. We've obviously already heard that there's a transportation issue. Now your driver's going to be held up even longer on Blanding. We heard the other day it's only a few extra minutes total, but that's not counting stops and your everyday traffic on Blanding. In addition to that, Orange Park High School is surrounded by multiple shopping centers and on one of the biggest intersections in our county. They're on Kingsley and their thing. I think I've already made my major point, but just please know that, again, it's our job to keep our kids safe. Argyle, we moved there because it's a safe area, it's quiet, and, you know, it just seems like right now we're being forced to send our kids to an unsafe environment. The school was built in 1959, referring to the high school, versus a 2010 with Oakleaf. And all of us that I have spoken to, and I've spoken to almost every parent, we all purchased our homes in Argyle for that reason, to know that our kids are going to be able to go to those schools and be in that safe environment. So please just keep that in mind as you're making your final decisions, that, you know, it's more than just the highway, it's more than just the length of time. Just please keep that in mind. And thank you again for your time and everything you do for us.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Gabby Rosame, knowing that you are a student, please do not share your address, but share your name when you come to the podium.
Gabby Rosemay. Good evening. My name is Gabby Rosemay. I'm a 10th grader currently attending Oakleaf High School. I'm here to speak for not only me, but for my peers in Argyle to address the possible rezoning of Argyle students from Oakleaf High School to Orange Park High School. Sending students to Orange Park High School as opposed to Oakleaf High School is a poor decision. According to gradeschools.com, based on statewide testing of 2021, about 59% of Oakleaf High School students were proficient in math, while about 41% of Orange Park High School students were proficient. For reading, about 60% of Oakleaf High School students were proficient, and about 49% of Orange Park students were proficient. This data shows how Oakleaf High School teaches and maintains better testing and learning strategies than Orange Park High School. Also, according to publicschoolreview.com, Orange Park is below 50% of all high schools in Florida. If you decide to send Argyle students to Orange Park High School as opposed to Oakleaf High School, You are robbing students of an exceptional education for a subpar, substandard education. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. And if I might add, I'm incredibly proud of you for coming up this evening. Thank you. Paula Mason?
Paula Mason. I live at 2920 Brittany Bluff Drive in Orange Park, near Argyle Elementary. 2010, my oldest daughter attended Oakleaf High School, was the first graduating senior class of Oakleaf High School. We have been in that house since 2005. We bought the property because we were going to have Oakleaf High School. My kids were the first students to attend Oakleaf High School. That's their school. It's been their school. 2020, my son graduated. He's now a U.S. Marine. They have a great ROTC program. My youngest daughter is a freshman. She is in band, and her band is currently a 4A. If she is sent to Orange Park High School, her band will, and she goes into band, she will be a 2A. Now, I don't know if you know the difference between any of this band, but it's like 4A will get to go compete more than 2A bands. And she won't be able to participate in some of the stuff she's participating this year, as far as she has a state competition the weekend before Thanksgiving. She goes to Orange Park, they're not involved. They're too small. They're 2A. Also, like it was also already mentioned, Orange Park has a 3 out of 10 rating, and they're in the bottom 50%. Oakleaf High School has a 6 out of 10 rating, and they're in the top 50. Moving my child will move her, from a top school to not so top school. And also was mentioned the math. She struggles in math. Moving her from one school that does well in math to one school that doesn't do well in math won't be right. Also, just because and I've said this many times, it's our neighborhood school. And it always has been our neighborhood school. All of us that have bought houses out there were because of Oakleaf. And my kids started Oakleaf. I understand there's a new neighborhood being built not very far down, right down the street from me. They're going to be zoned for Oakleaf, but my child over here is going to be sent to Orange Park. I don't understand that too much, but just want to know that it's my neighborhood school. It's been my children's neighborhood school. And transportation, I want to get that real quick. And I've talked to Mr. Borowski about that. Transportation is a big thing. I know I'm over my time, but I take her to school now before I go to work because just to avoid all that. Mm-hmm. She rides the bus home sometimes, and then I'll pick her up after band practice. But that's a major concern of mine. I won't be able to take her to Orange Park High School and make it to work on time. I just won't. And then there's that much more time, travel and buses, transportation, and I know that's all. But thank you.
I hear you, Ms. Mason. Thank you so much. Jessica Horn?
Hi there. My name is Jessica. I live on 2874 Spoonbill Trail in Orange Park, right 4 houses from Argyle Elementary School. I am a current parent of a student that goes to Oakleaf Junior High. My daughter has attended Argyle Elementary since kindergarten all the way into 6th grade. She remembers Mrs. Bola. She actually spoke about you this morning. My daughter and myself have always had in mind to attend the Oakleaf High School. Example, I moved 2 years ago, only 1 mile away from my old home, to be in Oakleaf. I've always been part of the Oakleaf community. My daughter has always been part of the Oakleaf community. These other parents, these other students have always been part of the Oakleaf community, not just by attending the school, but participating in the extracurriculum that they have, the extra sports, the scouts, these art classes, the dance studios. Everything we have done in Oakleaf. We have never done it in Orange Park. Argyle area is this little area that's just snuck in there and hidden between Old Orange Park and Oakleaf. One way in, one way out. So there is nothing that divides us. There is no railroad track that divides us from Oakleaf. There's no railroad track that divides us from Old Orange Park. But there is Black Creek that trails right behind my neighborhood. That does divide us from Orange Park. Yeah, I know that you guys have said in other board meetings that it's only 6 miles away from the beginning of the Clay County and Duval line to Orange Park. Well, from my address, from Argyle Elementary School, where those parents usually go to, it's actually 8.7 miles. And from Argyle Elementary School to Orange Park Junior High, it takes about 30 minutes to get there on a busy day in the morning. On a easy, no traffic day, yeah, 25 minutes. My daughter currently leaves at 8:45 in the morning, and she gets to school at 9:02 at Oakleaf. Sorry, I'm nervous. Also, for the high school, it's the same thing. The traffic on Fridays to come from the Oakleaf Junior High area, you guys know, landing is horrible. At 3:30 in the afternoon, now you talk about 3:45, my student won't be home until 5 o'clock. I know you guys discussed this before in a meeting on September 9th or September 28th about the traffic, about how bad it is over there. Now, I'm worried about my child being stuck in that traffic. Am I gonna get the phone call, my child got in a car accident, or am I gonna call the school and be like, what's going on? But like the school bus driver said, you can't contact the school. After a certain time, school's closed, people are gone. How are we gonna be able to contact the school and ask where my child is when it's 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock on a Friday night? You know, I'm here as a parent. I'm here speaking for my daughter. She's not here. I know there's not many parents here, but I never got a letter. I never got a letter. I learned from other parents talking about it on social media. So just think of other parents that never got a letter. Think about those parents that are parents of students that are 5th grade and below. They don't know about this. Only parents that know are parents that got affected by this by 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders, and possible 6th graders. So just think of the students, not just the parents, think of the students. Where they belong and where they've been, where they've grown up, where they met their friends. So that's it, thanks, sorry.
No, thank you for being here. Very, very much. I will now, that is the end of the public comment for the next few items. I will entertain a motion to approve advertisement for attendance boundary realignment for Oakleaf High School and Orange Park High School.
I'll move approval.
Ms. Gilhausen has moved approval. Ms. Clark has seconded it. Discussion.
Thank you, parents and students who came out and spoke to us tonight. I'm a mom of 3 students here in Clay County, so I know I can imagine how it would feel to have your choice taken away from you. I know that's what it feels like, and I know it's frustrating, and nobody likes change. So please know that we're not unsympathetic to how this affects you personally, your family, and your students. At the same time, we have a serious issue with capacity at Oakleaf that has to be addressed by policy and by law. And we're trying to do that in the fairest way we possibly can. No matter who is affected by this, they're going to be upset, whether it's your neighborhood or another. So I just wanted you to know that this isn't a decision that we take lightly. It's certainly not one that we treat disrespectfully, because we certainly appreciate how it is personally affecting all of you. And we appreciate you coming and sharing your concerns and your experiences, and I hope that you'll continue to do that. because I think that we can navigate those concerns together and be partners through this change.
Before we go any further, I wanted to read into the record that the items C27, C28, and C29 were moved to discussion because we needed to replace the advertisements with the corrected effective start time of 22:23 and to provide greater clarity, regarding the rationale of the proposed boundary changes. Thank you.
Thank you.
There were incorrect dates on these.
Well, I'm glad they removed Mrs. Bola, because something of this importance should never be in the consent agenda anyway. It should have been in discussion, just so that the community is aware of, to be transparent. And of course, it would have been pulled anyway with the amount of people who spoke to it. So it should have been there. After the very first parent meeting we had probably 70 people there, I'd say, and most of the room was opposed to the changes that we're making. I asked, I think I said it to both to you, Mr. Broski and Ms. Ellis, is there anything else we can look at? Can we look at leaving all of that Argyle Elementary area in Oakleaf and look at maybe taking some of Orange Park that would be attending Ridgeview and move it up to Orange Park? And then the area of south of Oakleaf that's going to Oakleaf, move those into Ridgeview. Is any of that possible?
We did, and certainly Jim can join in, because he has more expertise than I on it, but we moved all of these students in southern Oakleaf to Ridgeview.
They're already. So
That's already.
We couldn't move any further out and leave the Argyle Elementary people in and move that line down further?
No, ma'am.
No. I know staff really looked, hard and close at it. I do understand that. I'm just, I understand, families are being uprooted from the community that's, their home. That's their neighborhood school. I don't like it.
Of course, the other concern, I understand, safety's a concern, but, the size of a school makes it very, the management of it very difficult. I was a principal of a school that had about 1,200 students, and the difference in 3 times that amount at Oakleaf, just knowing the students and those kinds of things make it very, very difficult for the administration and for everybody for managing all those kinds of things. So, we talk about class size, but school size is also a critical issue, in my opinion, too. And when you get so big, it's very difficult to run the programs like need to be run. But I certainly I like Ms. Skillhouse, I understand it's not easy when it's your neighborhood that's being impacted by it. Thank you, though, for those who spoke. I appreciate it.
Mr. Fasa, did you want to add something to this?
I think he's just getting ready for a question.
Yeah, I was just getting ready for a question.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He's on the ready.
Ms. Clark?
Well, I was going to say none of us like this at all. But between state requirements and what we have to do, and if we try to look at Ridgeview or another area, we're starting this cycle all over because there's parents there that don't want to go for whatever reason to that school. And I've lived in Orange Park since '83. So I think it's a great place. And we've got 2 brand new principals at each of the junior high and high school. And I think we need to give them a chance. And I like I said, none of us like this, but I know some students that have actually already moved that were in that area, because initially everything around Cheswick Oaks, Argyle, came to Orange Park before Oakleaf was built. And those students said they are much happier in a smaller environment. They love it. And as students, they don't really care about the extra few minutes on blending. We do, but they don't. So I don't think it's as awful as we feel that it is, and I think we're gonna get through it.
Mr. Foss, I have a question for you. There was a comment made about a new subdivision that is being built, that's being sent to Oakleaf. Anything on Cheswick Oaks that's being built right now?
Whatever's on Cheswick Oaks is going to be, would be, if we go through with this plan, would be going to Orange Park.
They would be going to Orange Park.
Yes, ma'am.
I've driven back there because I was curious as all get out to see how far that road had gone. I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, but they're going to continue that road. Do we know when they are continuing the road?
I don't know when. It's not part of the county's bonded road extension. So it could be 10 years, it could be longer.
I had heard that there's some water in that area as well, or marsh.
Right, you can't go any further. That's why you have to go on these, there's no way to get across the county because that area is all wet. They would have
Thank
to
you.
build
Okay,
a
so it is
huge
wetlands.
bridge. Yes.
So it would have to be specialty road, et cetera, okay? I'm asking you all of the questions that have come to me in the last couple of weeks,
Yes, ma'am.
since our meetings. I've answered emails from students who've said, but I'm in band, but I'm in this, I'm in that. And unfortunately, we have to say, unless you're in the pre-ACE program already, or you are going to be an 8th grader at Oakleaf, the ACE program, the aeronautical program, and the agriculture program, which are all the academies, then the option is not there for them. Another question about Middleburg High School. Why can't we send some of these kids to Middleburg High School? How would you answer that?
Right now, Middleburg is at capacity as far as their size goes. They just couldn't handle the amount that we need. If we need to move quite a few, and there's nowhere else to go. I can't go north because that's Duval County. I can't go west because that's Jennings Forest, there's nobody there. I can't go south because we've already moved stuff south over to Ridgeview. The only direction would be to the east.
Okay, thank you. I was there to open Argyle. You know that. And this absolutely breaks my heart. I taught at W.E. Cherry before we opened Argyle, and we had all of the Argyle students coming to W.E. Cherry. Argyle opened 15 years ago. I've lost track. No, it's probably 17 years ago now. And I do know that, you're right, the students didn't care if they were on the bus because they were with their friends or talking, etc. However, I also know that time on the bus can create behavior problems. It can create some problems that you don't necessarily see in a straight out situation. And opening Argyle and moving those children to their own elementary school in their own neighborhood was huge, and it was awesome. I also remember, however, the year after we opened Argyle, at the time it was Superintendent Owens, and he said, and now we're going to open Oakleaf School. And it was like, what? And they opened Oakleaf School within a year because the growth was so tremendous. But I was also at Argyle in 2008 when the housing market bottomed out. And it was difficult to fill Oakleaf junior high. We didn't have enough students to continue the junior high per se because we had built the elementary schools. And so we moved the 6th grade from Argyle, we moved the 6th grade from Oakleaf Village, and we moved the 6th grade from Plantation Oaks to the school. We are constantly, in the next 5 years, we are going to be going through these same conversations with redistricting.
Growing pains.
It is a growing pain. It is painful. It is awful. As I said, it is breaking my heart. Talking to a friend from high school over the weekend, and I had gone to elementary school with him 1 year because his school was being remodeled. And he said, I lived in the same house on the same street my entire elementary career. And I was redistricted to 4 different elementary schools. And that was in my hometown. I lived across the street from the elementary school, so I was like, I never had to go through that. I can't imagine, what that feels like. But it was not so bad for him. He still had plenty of friends in high school, and it will continue to grow. There is no easy answer to any of this. This is a motion at this point to advertise. There will be a public hearing on December 9th. This is something that we will continue to be available for through phone calls, through emails, any contact. This is not an end-all be-all. This is simply to advertise at this point. So hopefully people will pay attention. They will see the advertisements. They will understand that you were talking about the kindergarten through 5th grade students. They will understand that this is a change that we are looking at for the future, and we're not sure how long that future will be. It could be a permanent change. It could be a change that we change again 15 years from now. I can't see into the future that way. So any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if the motion could be restated, it
Yes.
was made before the advertisement was amended.
Did I make that? I think I made that motion.
Ms. Gilhausen made the motion and Ms. Clark
Ms. Clark
seconded it.
seconded, yes.
I'll amend my motion to accept the advertisement as amended.
So we're approving the advertisement for attendance boundary realignment for Oak Cliff High School and Orange Park High School as it was amended. That is the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will be advertising. That vote carried. And as I said, the public hearing will be December 9th here. C28, approve the amended advertisement for attendance boundary realignment for Oak Cliff High School and Ridgeview High School.
I'll move approval.
Ms. Gilhausen moved approval.
Second.
Ms. Bullock seconded it. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry it. And C29, approve the amended advertisement for attendance boundary realignment for Oak Cliff Junior High and Orange Park Junior High. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved by Ms. Gilhausen and seconded by Ms. Clark. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Vote carries 5-0. And finally, D7, approve the advertisement for school board member district realignment. And in the backup for this particular item, there were 4 options. In the motion, I would like whoever makes that motion to include the option that we had discussed at the workshop, I believe.
That was 4, right?
The back, yes, option 4, because all 4 options are listed here.
I'll move approval of option 4 for school board district realignment, boundary district realignment.
Second that.
It has been moved by Ms. Karakis and seconded by Ms. Bullock for the school board to approve option 4 of the school district, of the district realignment. For school board member district realignment. I apologize. Any discussion?
We got a second, right? Okay.
Yes, we have a motion by Ms. Karakis, a second by Ms. Bullock. Option 4 was the final option that was presented to us, and it is the one that aligns most closely, numbers-wise, as I recall. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes carry it. Mr. Bickner, do you have any comments for us this evening?
I have none, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And anybody want to go first? Ms. Clark, go for it.
If I can get my voice back. I'm just happy that we didn't have a group picture tonight because I would hate for Ms. Bullock to have to explain why she's wearing red and black instead of her.
I'm
She's wearing red and black.
I'm owning up to it when it gets to my turn.
Okay, all right. Anyway, once again, the redistricting, realignment, whatever word, of the students is very difficult. I actually went to, I think I thought 11, but I actually went to 10 different schools myself between elementary, junior, and high school. So I get it big time, but I don't think I'm too much of a basket case from it. So and looking back, it was actually probably one of the best things that happened to me. And more so, like we stated in the last monthly meeting, I'm just thrilled that we've had more and more people come, more and more parent participation, because that's what our county represents, and that's what we want. I mean, we're the advocates for the children and for the parents, and we're going to be there for you. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clark. Ms. Karakis?
You know, I lived in a neighborhood where they drew the boundary lines 2 houses over from mine. So all my friends were this one district. We hung out, neighborhood, you know, the high school I could walk to. It was that close, but I was bused 25 minutes away for high school, junior high, all of them, and elementary. And you know, when you're in elementary school, you still keep those friends and it works out fine. Once you get to junior high and high school, it kind of separates a bit. So I'm really a firm believer in the neighborhood schools, and I can see how this is going to be upsetting to families, especially those high school kids who are now going to have to get up even earlier, because that ride is going to be longer than 6 minutes, you know, or 6 minutes longer. I mean, it's going to be earlier, and they're going to be, but to your point, though, Ms. Kilhausen, you know, we have to do it, and it's going to happen. We're going to be doing a lot more of it over the next 5 years. So it doesn't make it right, and I don't like it. But anyway, I was one of those. But I guess we've been to quite a few things this last month. But I think the most important things were congratulating our teachers of the year and our support employees of the year. You know, congratulations to all of them. We're so proud of you. You know, they're the reason our district is an A district and we do so well. So just want to give them a shout out and say thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Bullock?
I appreciate everyone noticing that I'm wearing red and black tonight, which is not my usual colors. I'm either orange and blue, or I'm wearing Keystone blue. But anyway, I would like to give a shout out to all my Georgia friends. And I am wearing orange. I'm wearing red and black for that.
I'm glad we're all sitting down for this, because I never thought I'd hear that one.
This was hard coming this way.
Did you lose a bet?
I did, obviously.
There it is.
Badly. The Gators just didn't play very well. But
No, they
anyway,
didn't.
I've had some great opportunities this past month. I've gone to a Keystone Heights High School band concert. I've gone to the Teacher of the Year and the Employee of the Year meet and greet, and my gosh, when you see all the wonderful things that those people do, your heart is just so proud. I mean, that we have those kinds of people at our schools is just phenomenal, and I'm so proud of all of them. We got to go see, we talk about roads, Blanding Boulevard. I had to drive from Keystone all the way to Blanding, and I thought, when I got to Orange Park High School for the play, I was glad to be on the yellow brick road, and that's what the play was. And they did a phenomenal job of A Wizard of Oz, and I was very proud of the Orange Park High School drama team. They really did a great job, so thank you.
Oh,
That's
how
what I
about
did.
school lunch week?
Oh, yes, we did go to National School Lunch Week. Mary Bola was there. We were invited to Doctor's Inlet, and I was recommended to have the pizza by a student. And after I looked around, I thought they were right, so anyway. And it was good. We did enjoy it, so, but anyway, and then we got, of course, a nice little thank you from Carolyn and Ayers, their principal, with a Reese's cup. So it's everything good. Thank you.
She must have done research for that because I had a Kit Kat on mine.
Oh.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, she must have.
Yeah, I think it was like pre-Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Miss Gilhausen.
We have enjoyed some nights under the Friday night lights lately. We've had some good football games in this county this season. It's been fun to participate in that, and we went to the big band showcase at Fleming Island High School. I actually took my oldest son to that one, hoping for some inspiration for him. So it was very impressive to watch our Clay County high school bands just show us what they're capable of. And by far, they had the best presentations over all the other counties that were here. So it's been a fun month, and looking forward to the end of the year and the holidays. And I love what you said, Ms. Kidwell, about November being a time to reflect on everything we have to be grateful for, because living where we do and working where we work, we do have much to be thankful for.
Absolutely. And on that note, we have Thanksgiving coming up. So I have a feeling there are quite a few families out there, and teachers particularly, who are waiting impatiently for that week off. I remember not very fondly back when we had to teach on Monday and Tuesday of that week and try to make it through till Wednesday. So the fact that we have that whole week off is truly a blessing as well. Thank you to all of the people who put together Tools for Schools again. We had our second Tools for Schools, loads of teachers coming through, and just so incredibly thankful for the stuff that they can get for their classroom, which is, I mean, you think it's just a given, but it really is important for them to have the tools that they need. Looking forward to reading those Teacher of the Year applications. I haven't started yet. That's tomorrow's project, and it's probably one of the toughest parts of this job. Thank you all for speaking this evening, and continue to talk to your neighbors. Have them call us, please. Have them send us emails. We're going to do whatever we can. It's frustrating because there's only so much that we can do, but we thank you all for participating. Special shout out to all of our employees, and thank you for all the work that you do and for your passion for our children. That's what's so incredibly important to all of us. Have a great night. This meeting is adjourned.